Hello, all you beautiful people out there. It is a wonderful Thursday. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Gwen, right there, sitting in Idaho. He's not in Europe. He's where are you? Where are you right now?
So right now I'm back in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is kind of like my base for the summer. That's where my wife grew up, and right now she just opened a coffee shop, and I'm like here right now. It's not open yet. It's 6 a.m. here, and yeah, like Idaho is amazing. Actually, during the tour, the U.S. tour last year, I made a video. We did a stop here in Sandpoint, Idaho, and we were able to film some riding. There is a lake. It does get windy. It's pretty light in the summer, but sometimes you get a storm that comes through, and you get some pretty good wind. So this place is amazing. It's nice to have a small include a bit more of like a family time in my life right now.
What's the coffee shop called? Just so we can hook the whole world up to go have the best coffee there. Thanks, Gwen,
So
for hooking your wife up there. This is the
well,
whole conversation of
I'm
today.
I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna have to spell it because probably nobody's gonna understand what I say, which is hurt balls, but it's hurt like your hurt,
Heart.
Heart,
Yep. Heart
and
bowls.
then balls because basically it's a cafe that and they make a lot of like smoothie balls, acai
Awesome.
balls, and so it's
Heart Bowls, one
ama-
of the greatest places.
it's
Everybody's
amazing.
got to go in Idaho. Check it out. So everybody out there, today we got a super special one. One, Gwen is there with his beautiful, wonderful lady there, and she started this business. And today we wanted to kind of go over. Of course, we're going to talk about wing foiling and kite foiling and all the foiling stuff because we love it. We love you guys, and we appreciate all the feedback and comments and all our patrons. But we want to go over like how do you balance family and work and setbacks and accomplishments and accomplishing dreams and having the right attitude or mindset in life, like what. And we're not saying we have it dialed by all means. The reason I'm bringing this up is because
It's more gonna
I
be a brainstorming session.
it's always a work in progress, and I'll just go out on the limb and say to everybody out there, I may have come across as pretty positive, but man, do I struggle so hard sometimes. And that balance with family and life and work, and sometimes you get so caught up and you want to fix every problem at work that you'll put the people that you love second, which is something I'm working on, because they're always going to love you. But in theory, sometimes that balance isn't always right. And so we wanted to bring it up today and talk about it because I think, Gwen's been working super hard, traveling around the country, and then he was in Europe and, away from his wonderful lady there. And, it's a hard balance, but I would say, some tips that have worked for me that I think are very important is, and this is in life and in relationship, but did you give more today than I received? And I think if every day you try to give more than what you take, um, you know, even if like, you know, my wife wants to do something that's maybe not really something that I'm interested in, I still gotta give more or give to make sure that she gives me that time to spend an extra time after work during Ava and our family time at night, or go winging or go kiting. And I think there's a balance, and I think making sure you respect that balance goes so far. And I know people don't want to talk about this. I know it's hard even for me to talk about and even for Gwen to talk about, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's super important in our world today that like we got to remember what's important. And it's really hard to accomplish things if you're always struggling with the same thing. So I just thought I'd
So
bring it up.
I think what's really interesting is like maybe like even like taking it back because in your experience, like you were a pro rider, competing around the world, which requires like, I mean, as any professional athlete, you are like it's your life, and it's hard to have anything else other than that. So you had like 100% focus on what you were doing,
Yep.
and so maybe you can talk a bit about like that lifestyle, um, and then slowly transitioning to like more of
Now,
a normal
dad.
like yeah, like I mean it's kind of like too extreme, you know, from being, you know, 100% dedicated to your sport, to then like trying to you know, like phasing out of that lifestyle into, you know, I mean even before to be a dad, you know, to have a wife,
Sure.
and then you know all of that.
I mean this is like the most perfect topic, and I say that because I've been lucky enough to have some wonderful things in my life, but it's a very hard balance. And so, to go right into it, I would say, I went through life, had some setbacks with injuries, had some crazy highs, world championships, or being world champion, or winning some big prestigious titles, having a great career. But it's not even about like, let me just bring it back 2 seconds and say, whether you're an athlete or I'm an electrician, it doesn't matter. It's the same things happen. So let's just take it this way. As an electrician, I book a great job, and now I don't have any jobs for a while. You go through these highs and lows. So, you know, world championships, you win, you're just living a high, but then it's like, these lows can come into your life really fast. And it's how you balance that feeling, that emotion, that how do I look at life? And so I would say, going through a whole career for 40 years of, being an athlete, and always, it was for me. And I don't mean that to be selfish. I just mean my focus was, if I wanted to work on video projects, or go, have an opportunity to go work with Dwayne Johnson and Baywatch or something, it's incredible. I could just say yes and do it. But now with a growing family, I have a little 1.5-year-old soon to be, and an amazing wife. The balance changes. It's not that you can't still do that stuff, but what is your focus, and how do you support your family, and how do you support your life? And I would say there's a couple key things that have really helped me, and I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I think for anybody to say, yeah, I got it dialed, is far from that, especially myself. But I would say, the biggest one that I think keeps coming back, when I go through these ups and downs, is did I, or let me, how do I explain it? You know, you have to make sure you have to be happy with yourself, or please yourself, and make sure you give yourself compassion before you can please others. And a lot of times I go and stretch myself, like I'm sick right now, I apologize, but stretch myself beyond to where I'm just like fried. I work as much as I can work and try to salvage every problem and try to fix everything, and then grab Ava when she's struggling and she's sick, and you do everything to try to help everybody. And there's a certain point where it's like, if I can't even keep myself healthy or in a good place, you can't quite help others as much as you really want to. So that's my first piece that I believe has been a little bit helpful for me. And I struggled with, if I go winging today, is that selfish? I'm not with my family or helping my wife with my nugget. you know I would look at it, it's a balance. Like, you need that time. I know I need that time for myself to be active, and to, get my mindset and everything, nice and mellow, to then fully commit everything to my family, when those times are, and vice versa. My wife needs her time away. And I think that balance that we don't quite talk about a lot in life is so important. And I'm learning it as we speak. And I just wanted to share that, because I think it's really important that you make sure you take care of yourself too before you can please others. Because if you just please others, man, you'll get run down to where things can be harder. So that's one point.
Yeah, I mean I feel like when I see you know, when I see like, you know, when I met you, I think what kind of like amazed me was like, you know, knowing your background, being, you know, world champion, but yeah, you can go to the beach and have, you know, a session that, you know, maybe the condition is not ideal, maybe the wind is, you know, maybe the wind drop and we only got to ride 20 minutes or whatever, and you still really you appreciated that time, even if it wasn't perfect, And so I think it's like trying to like, recalibrate, your expectations, and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna take an hour to ride, and even if it's like not ideal, I had like a great time, and now like I'm like ready to like share some time in other ways with my family. I think, yeah, being able to like recalibrate, and enjoy like simple things, not only like the achievement of being world champion. I
Yeah.
think that is like, um, that is
No,
an important.
it's
And I think with you and like Eva, like that definitely, like having a girl, a baby, like teaches you also like the little moments, and how like powerful they are.
yeah, and that's I mean, we'll dive into your side here in 2 seconds, but I would say, yeah, having a child puts life into perspective of like moments in time. Perfect example is I taught my daughter yesterday how to blow her nose. I mean, it's really random and minor, but that moment doesn't come again, right? Like, now she knows. So, those moments, you gotta appreciate them, and if you don't appreciate them, they'll just be, you'll miss out on those opportunities. And so I think looking at life that way, when you go to the beach, it may not be good, but if you look at it like, I'm at the beach, it's a blue sky and maybe the wind's light or whatever, if you're always looking at, you know the best of those scenarios, your life is going to be pretty incredible. And then your all those opportunities open up. And I ask you, Gwen, because I think this is pretty important. I met you a while back. We started this YouTube, had no clue what we were doing, and we're just doing it to help people, right? And here we are down the road. People are super stoked. There's lives being changed, and we're not saying, we're just sharing our message, and it's the people out there that actually change their own lives. It's you can, and I'm going to put a quote in here for everybody, and I'll pop it up here, and you got to watch this. It's one of the most inspiring, most magical speeches on the planet. Will blow everybody's minds. You just must watch it. But it still comes down to you making the change. Like, if you can go to you know I guess therapy classes. You can do all these things. Everybody can help you. You can get opinions, and people can help you. But in the end, like those real changes in life come from you. That's what I believe. And it's not saying that those people can't influence you, but you're still going to be the person that's got to get up, go to the beach, and say, "Hey, I want to try to wing foil." You can watch our videos and we'll inspire you, but it's still going to be you that makes that decision. But I just want to ask, and this is the video. Everybody's
Mm.
got to watch it. It's absolutely, just look it up on YouTube. The link's in our description here. It will blow your mind. It's as simple as like, you start the day by making your bed. Like, it's the first accomplishment you've made. Sounds dumb. Sounds like, what? And it's like, but you've achieved one thing. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you just keep achieving, all of a sudden you start accomplishing things in life, and wow, it's just like blows your mind on how productive, and then how you feel about yourself, and how positive things can be. But it's very powerful. But I recommend everybody to look at it. But Gwen's been traveling, so I met him. We started this thing a while back. He got involved with Cabrina. He's now they're like rock star, Cabrina Decline, helping the company with videos, and traveling around doing demos all around the world. In the U.S., created this big U.S. tour, and now he's created a tour in Europe, and all during this, his wonderful wife in the background is building this business in Idaho. And my question for you would be, how's that balance? How do you, and I know it's not easy, but the fact that you guys can have a loving relationship even with the traveling, and I know there's no way it's easy. And you know maybe
Yeah,
a little bit of guidance for
yeah.
people
I
out there that
think,
may
I
be in
mean,
similar situations where
we
they're,
are both like very, uh you know like full, like,
we have a lot of issues.
well, no, or we,
Just kidding.
well, we, how we say it, I don't know if like that is a common way to say it, but like we are both like a full circle. as a person.
Yeah.
And so we can share, like life, but we don't necessarily depend on each other. And so we are both like full on dedicated to like what we do. So we go after what we are both like passionate about. And then, we try to like, share moments together, like life together. But it's definitely like, I wouldn't say, we have figured it out.
Yeah.
But I think like it is important to like be fulfilling yourself, and then, the other, you need to give space to the other to also fulfill themselves, and then like share,
That
something
together.
together.
Yeah. It's
um
similar to what we just spoke about is, your wife's passion right now is building a business in Idaho, which is just on fire right now. And she has this little like, that's a dream she's gotta have for herself. And you're traveling the world wing fun, sharing this message and doing all this stuff, yet you can still keep it together because you're focused on making sure you're pleasing your goals, your dreams, then bringing them together and having you guys as your main kind of circle. And I think it's spectacular because I know, look, I mean, we're very lucky people. We have, we're doing well in a tough economy, and I just think that a lot of people out there have it a lot harder than us. And you know, I just wish I could just go to everybody and say you can do it and you can power through no matter what it is, because it just takes a mindset to really focus on it and really believe in it, and believing that you can achieve it, I think, is the hardest thing, and making a decision to do it, because man, people just get stuck in having to make a decision for change is very hard.
yeah, yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to like share also like, like your passion with the people you love, and in that, you know we see it like often where like even pro riders and world champions are able to share their passion with their family, and that becomes like, again, like a simple moment. Maybe you go to the beach and you are the one supporting the other, where like usually you are always the one in the water. And I know you do that all the time. So being able to like enjoy this, and truly like seeing like, okay, I'm sharing this moment and it's pretty amazing, but then also like not being like pushy about it and like forcing that on the other. I mean, that's also
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic right there. I mean, that's like one of my biggest faults is I want everybody to experience what I experience. So I'll be like, oh, look, it's perfect. Give it a go. Give it a go. Actually, I did it to your beautiful, wonderful wife behind you there, but I did it to her sister. I was like, it's perfect. It's just totally windy. It's great. It's awesome. Get out there. And it was like horrible. And she like went way downwind and there was no wind. But she did go out, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, but yes, nobody's perfect. I think, man, sometimes in our world, yeah, I give mad props to my wife because, she didn't grow up a water person, or, was nervous to put a bikini on and just go to the beach or be in front of people. And man, in the time we've been together, and her switch and how much confidence she's built as a person is just like inspiring to me, because we all have our struggles, and everybody does. There's just you can't, I don't think you cannot. And I would say, incredible athletes that are, top tier. I mean, I look at their scenarios and I look at, man, their highs must win an Olympic medal, and then like, they end their sport. I mean, they just search. That's why you see so many people like, I don't know, so many people in so many sports always come back. They're like Michael Jordans and Ryan Dungeys in motocross, and ski racers come back. It's because they're like, what do I do? I'm
yeah,
like
yeah,
lost,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think that's that mindset that you got to remember, that like, just because you were good at something, it doesn't mean you're not. Just being a great family person, or supporting your family and loving them and being as incredible as you can to them, that's almost greater than winning an Olympic medal, but it's hard to make that switch. So, it's
So
balance.
so your wife went wing foiling, and how was like that experience?
Yeah. So, we're going to share it with everybody here. My wife put together a little video for everybody, but she's learning. And what I love is, well, I mean, let's two topics because what we're talking about. I'm like, oh look, you gotta get out, get it's perfect, this, that, like, hey, stop pushing me, like that's like that normal balance that we just have to be in the relationship to be like, got it, I'll take Ava, and so it's a balance, right? So you want to push it on somebody because you know how much they're gonna love it, but you also got to be careful with how much you push it on them because you may be going too far, and then
Yeah, and it's like, it's also accepting that, like, I mean,
it's
not
okay
every
if he doesn't
not
like it.
and not everybody is gonna love wing foiling. I mean,
Exactly.
as amazing as it is, it might not appeal to everybody. So like, that's a
Exactly.
reality that maybe sometimes we don't see because we are like, what do you mean? Like, it's the greatest sport in the world, but
I know.
maybe not for everybody.
Yeah. So, but what I see happening, and I, you see these things when you've tried a lot of sports and you've done a lot of experiences. I mean, I've been beyond blessed. I grew up traveling the world when I was little with my parents, got to see a lot of things and experience a lot in life at a really young age, and I just want to share that with my family now, and share it with the world, saying, hey, look, you can do this. You can just literally do anything. You just really have to focus. I mean, work on whatever it may be. I mean, 2 nights ago, we're going through our finances and looking at, like, what we could do, how we could do this, how we could make this dream in 10 years, and so on and so forth. Like, how's that going to work? But you got to look at it, and you got to start looking and putting that in your brain of like, how I'm going to achieve that. But to get back to my wife, I would say, you know, I know this and I believe in it, but when people start to get the spark of something, and I know my wife loves foiling, so it's like all of a sudden she's starting to handle the wing better, and she's starting to feel these things that we all, it's learning. And once you start to learn some things and you get some confidence, all of a sudden you start to really like it. And I think it's anything. It's learning a language, and all of a sudden you can speak Spanish when you're in Mexico or something. You're like, hey, this is kind of cool. I may speak more Spanish, and it's just confidence. And so it's really cool to see my wife, you know, being an amazing mother, but being able to switch that time and also be able to learn something new and something that, there's fear in. She's scared of sharks. There's there's a lot. There's people judging you, what you look like. Am I doing it right? I'm dressed all funny because she's covered head to toe, so she doesn't get all chafed up. Like, there's a lot there. So, but I think I give her just mad props. I give anybody props really for, being vulnerable. I once did a motivational speech actually in Hood River, and I'll just say this because I think it's pretty cool. But I put together this speech, and I had to run it by my mom because I was like, "Can I even do this? Are you okay with this?" And so the whole speech was just hitting some points that were very powerful. But what I did during the whole speech, I watched a lot of TED Talks, and in TED Talks, people like do this with their hands and all these gestures, get all these views, and you like engage people. So my speech I put together, I had clothes on from head to toe, and as I went through these points that were important in life, I took off a piece of clothing. So I was sitting there in a pair of board shorts, but it looked like, we'll call it boxers. But I took off my shoes, my socks, my shirt, my pants, my everything. And if you think about that, you're watching this person speak. You're like, what is this dude doing? Like, why is he taking off his clothes, right? But I did it to have a harder impact on making sure people are realizing that, like, listen to these notes, which, some of them were like, you know, struggles and, everything everybody goes through in life. But I had, each clothing to hit this point. And I always look back on it, and one day maybe we'll have to make a video with it because I probably still remember most of it. But, you know, it, it's you just want to help people to say, hey, look, when you take all this off, like the front, this fake front that you like put out there for people, and you be you, like, man, that's the most special person on the planet. Because you see all this stuff on this, and you see, being an athlete. I mean, we used to go to all these camps, and everybody would, you post all this stuff to be so powerful to make your image go higher and this and that, but is it that real? I would say, same as the news and a lot of things out there, there's things that are pulled left or right, or it's a fine balance of making sure that you take in what's best for you, make sure you live in the moment, make sure you know bring in the good. Like if you're watching something on TV that's not good, man, eliminate it. Watch something special. Watch this speech right here, and it'll blow your mind. It'll change your complete inner attitude. Last night, my wife and I watched right before we went to bed, and I'll have to find it and put it in the description below. But a lady, gosh, I wish she was here to say it. And for those out there, just hear it out real quick. It's a lady who sung a song for a movie, and it's the most spectacular song ever to be sung, and it's for the movie, but it was an actress who did it, and nobody knew who the lady was behind who sang it. And all of a sudden she went on whatever the show is where all the cool people go on and they sing the shows, like America's Got Talent, I think that's what it is. And she revealed herself and sang the song. It's like absolutely, completely mind-blowing, like mind-blowing. I will put it in the description for everybody. And it was pretty cool to see that she was just scared to be in front of people. She wanted to be like behind the scenes and like, this is me, this is what I do, I sing, but like I don't want to be like out there. And she came out, and she's spectacular and beautiful and wonderful and charismatic, whatever, just a wonderful person. And it just goes to show, like, some of the most talented people in the world struggle with the same thing that everybody struggles with, which is just confidence and being okay with being out there to say, hey, this is me. And I'll share it in the comments. It's mind-blowing. It's spectacular.
So so now, like, how do you deal with, like, like you just talked about, like, you see that this on your phone, you see other people's lives on your phone, and then how do you keep, like, maybe calibration on yourself, and not be like comparing, not be like, I don't know, like judging your own life, and be like, what am I doing? Look at this, and on social media. Do you have like tricks, like maybe I don't know, you have like time off?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So look, I'm not, let's just say this. I'll give every bit of my heart to everybody out there to say, look, you're the one that's going to make the change. But hopefully some of this stuff that Gwen and I talk about just puts a check into your brain that maybe, has you focus on certain things. But to answer that question, I would say, one, I put this in here. This is Helen Keller, but the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with your heart. And I think if you like look at life, it's like, we get so caught up in thinking we need to do something or put on this persona. And we really got to remember, like, be in the moment, feel it, love it, do it. It's you and whoever's around you. And that's the most powerful thing. But I would say, kind of to answer that question to the best of my ability, I would say, routines, maybe you're a person that needs routines. You need to find out who you are, right? The most important thing. And that's what makes me happy. And man, that's a hard question for a lot of people. I like to do every sport. I like to kind of push the limit on some things. I like to work hard. I'd love to make a lot of money. I'd love to be the best family person in the world, but you got to start breaking it down and then focus on the most important things, I think, in priority. So, for me, it starts with, eating healthy. Eating healthy can change the way you feel, emotions, depression to anxiety. Very important in my opinion. I think, just test it on, a lot of people are like, I worked out for a week and like didn't see any change. Yeah, because like change takes time. and you could drink the perfect smoothie for a week and you'll start to feel maybe something, but it takes time. You can't just like, a lot of people try things for a second and they're out. I mean, that's why gyms are probably so successful, is everybody gets a membership but then they never go. um, it's like, you have to put in the time, and this literally goes to wing foiling and kite foiling and everything, but like, you're only going to be as good as the time you put in. So period. So if you want to be good at life and good at your relationship, and you have to put the time in to care for your wife or care for your family, or or learn what works for you and for your family. Vice versa, your wife and your kids have to respect you and do certain things with you to balance that. So it's never like all one-sided. It's got to be mutual across the board. But right now it's one-sided for sure with Ava. She's got us for sure in control. But 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 my wife and I are on the same team, so that's good. But I just feel like, honestly, I think everybody struggles, and it's okay. And don't be afraid to just start to focus on what what are your top priorities. What are your dreams? What do you want to do? And really start working towards it. I think we never do that. I'm a perfect. I mean, I've done a lot in my life, but I still get stuck in ruts. I mean, one of my dear friends, John Modica, has been calling me like, "Hey, you guys doing a trip?" I don't even know the last time I took a vacation, right? And we're trying to book something, but it's just been like so many things going, and where's the time? And you look at that and you're like, gotta make time. It's an important priority for us to take some time for us, and then get back to that life, because you're going to be better at it because you took a little bit of time. And some of the most successful people, they don't work like from 2 a.m. till midnight. They have a million different projects, but they're so good at taking that time that they have scheduled, or that meeting time, and they just accomplish it with such precision that it opens up more time. And I think it's how you put together your day. So structure, knowing what it is you want to make happen, and write it down. And finances, like, understand your finances. What can we do with our money? How can I save money to maybe get out of debt? You need to put some things into priority for you to overcome these things. That would be my best sort of general
Yeah, I mean,
question.
I think being like having some like quiet time for yourself to figure this thing out, because when you are like distracted all the time, if you have a busy lifestyle and you have zero time to think about all of this stuff, you kind of get stuck in a rut where like now you don't even take time to figure out where you want to go. You are just going.
Yep.
And then down the line, you realize like you went to a place where like you didn't want to go, but that's because you didn't take the time to like figure out where you want to go and where are you going right now. Are you going in the right direction? So it's always like, that's the thing. It's like, we live in a time where we are our attention
Pulled
uh,
so many ways.
is for so many ways. And so you today you can like never be bored, in a way, but this time being bored is very important, because that's when you figure out the real things that matter. And if you always are distracted, you just don't get time for that. So
Yeah, I mean, perfectly said. It really truly is. It's a choice in life that we all can make. I really think you have a choice to bring happiness into your life. For sure, some have it way harder than others, and I'm not saying, but you still have the ability to make a change. Everybody has that ability, and it's just a matter of how bad you want it, and how you approach it. But I go back to this speech. But there's a point in this speech where he says, you just make your bed when you get up. It's your first accomplishment. And I look at, Gwen and I have said this many times in many of our videos, but making your just any small achievement take it as a huge win. So like, you know, I want to book a trip for the future. Okay, tonight we looked at, or today we looked at a few spots to go. That was our first achievement. We started. I want to go wing foiling. I clicked on, you know, Gwen and Damo's show and I watched a little winging. It's a start. Just start. And honestly, like everybody take those little achievements and make sure you give yourself that, because sometimes you forget that because there's so much fast pace. There's so many things going, phone calls, text, everybody's blasting you, work, family, so many things going. You forget to take the little achievements that you're actually working towards. And don't be afraid if you got to write them down, or make sure you just make sure you know that you're working towards it, and all of a sudden those achievements will make you feel better. We're getting there. I'm making those moves. We're doing it. And all of a sudden you're there and you're wing foiling or you're on the vacation. And I think it's really important because you know, if you don't give yourself the little credit, um sometimes you go back to all of a sudden 2 years go by and you're like, oh yeah, we were going to take a vacation, and it never happened because it
Well,
wasn't priority.
well, I remember like listening to a podcast that was very interesting about this. He was a writer, and you know he writes for like whatever, like the top like magazine now, and he was saying like, you know, this did not happen overnight, and you know he started by like writing for the local newspaper, and then he did that for a while, and then it moved on to like something a bit better and a bit better, and there were so many steps along the way. But you know when you look at this guy, you are like, oh wow, like you know I want to write for this magazine, but like I'm so far from it, and I don't think I can do it. So it's not about like you know, sure, like you have an end goal that seems very far from where you are right now,
Yep.
but you know along the way, what is the next step that seems very achievable? You know, can I, you know, you want to be a writer, can I write for the local newspaper? and and then you do that, and then you do that for a while, and then if you get good at it, you know, you're going to move on to something else. So sometimes we just get stopped in our journey right from the beginning because we are the beginning and we only see the end goal, and it seems like so far that we are like, there's no way. And that's why I love this speech that you mentioned, because that's what he's saying. He like, you want to do great things, you want to be, you know, a Navy SEAL, make your bed in the morning. And
Yeah.
you seem like, what, like that has nothing to do with it. But
Yeah.
he's explaining like, yes it does, because that is the first step,
Yeah.
and that is going to get you on a journey to become whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
So you know, whatever you want, you know, you want to do a backflip, it's not going to happen overnight, and we've been trying to make it overnight, and it's been many nights now that we, you know, we are like still working on it. But it's the process. You take it one step at a time. You start being able to get up on foil, and then you do your first jibe, and then you do your first stack, and then you do countless of falls trying to do your backflip. But it's one step at a time. And also the one of the most important thing that we, you know, say pretty often is like, it's the enjoy the journey, because if you don't enjoy the journey is all you have really to get to where you want to be. Because even when you get there, maybe it's just a moment. You know, you want to be world champion. If you want to be world champion, that being the world champion is maybe just a moment, but before that is years. And if you
Yep.
just hated years of your life for that one moment,
You
and
just
after
wasted
that
it.
it's over, and then what do you have left?
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
well said.
so in everything, you know, we want to do, we have dreams, but we need to make sure that we don't get discouraged, and then that we take it one step at a time, and then we enjoy the process.
Yeah,
and
like couldn't have been better said right there.
and then
100%.
pay attention to like, is I think you have like signs of like, okay, I'm on the right track. If you feel like, if you feel happy when you do something, if you know, like, okay, I'm on the right track. If you are not happy when you do something, okay, how can I change it and make it maybe a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I guess I would say, why are we sitting here on Facebook and YouTube talking about this? And we're just two random people in this world. That's it. We're two random people that have a passion, that want to share some positivity with people. And we don't have the right answer. We don't know the right direction, but you never know. This may inspire you to go do something magical. And we for sure get messages from people that, have been touched or something has changed for them. And I'll say it again, which I think is pretty awesome. And then we'll jump into our patron show for all those patrons who support us, which thank you so much. It's amazing. But, you know, I always was worried about, like, I want to be on the just as big as I can make it and make the biggest impact and say, hey, let's make a change in this world. Let's really, like, if we're gonna clean up this world, it's got to be structured. If our political side's got to be non-corrupt. I mean, there's a lot that could really go into some serious talking points. But I would just say, if you can change one person, it's good enough for me. And even if I tried and I didn't, it's okay. I'm okay with that, as long as I gave more today than I took in. And to me, I'm okay with that. So I'd say leaving on that note, I would say, give more than you take. Share your positivity. You can't take anything with you when this is done. So things are just things. Moments and memories and experiences and adventures and learning is all you're going to have. And so, don't miss out on those moments with your loved ones, and cherish them. Sometimes you just get caught, you're on the phone, whatever, you're working. Cherish those moments. Take advantage of it, own it. And I think, all I can say is I appreciate you, Gwen, and all that we've learned and done already so far, and what's to come in the future. I think you never know. Who knows where this goes? I'm open to it. I'm super pumped about it. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. I wanted to share this with everybody today with Gwen, because, sometimes, we forget about the most important things in life.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's thank you for sharing all of that with us. I mean, to me, like, I always feel like I learned so much, from you, and really being like vulnerable and being like open to like talking about this. We are not experts, but
At all.
we
At
we
all.
are sharing what we can, and yeah, like, whatever people might be judging, like, oh, what are these guys talking about?
Yep. It's okay.
We don't have the answer. We are sharing, and hopefully this is going to help maybe one person, and that's what matters. And if it didn't, at least we tried, and that's still what matters.
That's it. And I would say, for all those out there, I'll put the link in the description of the song, and then make sure to watch this video. The link is in the description. It's a very powerful video, but it's a reality check for a lot of us. But on that note, everybody have a wonderful Thursday. We can't thank you more. We appreciate Katie for opening up her shop there. Let Gwen rock and roll and be a part of this. We love you, Katie. There she is, the most amazing woman right there. And so now we're going to jump into our patron show. And all those that support us, look, thank you guys so much. We love your comments. We appreciate you guys. We got lots more videos to come, and feel free to leave messages on anything you'd like to see or hear or do, and we'll go from there. But yeah, for $5 a month, you can drink coffee with us and support the patron show and our YouTube and see where this goes. So we love you guys.
Cool. Yeah, we see you guys next week, and in the meantime, go out there, have fun, and live life.
Awesome. Everybody have a wonderful Thursday.